What would you do if you had to pay an unexpected bill tomorrow? It could be anything from your car breaking down to a broken appliance or even losing your job. Well, August is Sorted Money Month, and this year it's all about emergency savings and having a small financial safety net that can prevent a setback turning into a crisis. Funds Robyn Conway is here to explain why these saving matters and how much people should aim for. Where to start? Morena, Robyn, thanks very much for joining us. Why are they so important to have this break in case of emergency fund?
Yeah, look, I think everyone knows that having an emergency fund is a good idea. It stops a small financial situation becoming a much bigger debt that people end up having, and so we can all relate to a vet bill that might crop up or a dental appointment that's much more expensive than what we expected. So having that financial buffer there just allows for us to ultimately have a bit more financial resilience and not be quite so stressed in these types of circumstances.
For sure, but what is the magic number? I mean, it's pretty different for everyone, but how much should we be aiming for?
Yes, so Sorted indicate that $1,000 is a good place to start. So most people for $1,000 will be able to manage a day-to-day emergency. Further on from that, looking at 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses is key. That will allow a much more comprehensive safety net should you be in the unfortunate position of losing a job or not earning as much money as you used to. However, 3 to 6 months worth of expenses is actually quite a lot of money for people, so having a small amount being put away and just actually starting that emergency fund is key.
Yeah, but starting with that $1,000 is a bit more kind of surmountable, isn't it, than 3 to 6 months. So what is the simplest way for people to start?
Yes, so as mentioned, obviously there's a goal that you might be wanting to achieve. I would start with something more attainable. So what does that smaller amount look like for you? Setting up automatic payments. So you often hear people talking about paying yourself first. Don't wait until the end of your pay cycle to put the leftover money away. Do that to begin with. Some people will also put their emergency savings in a separate bank account, so it's not front of mind. A pair of shoes doesn't become an emergency, that side of things. So making sure that you're doing all those things, but ultimately having consistency and making those regular payments into that emergency fund is what's most important.
Totally. If it's in your own bank accounts and it's very easy to transfer it out in those emergency shoe situations. What about if people feel, and this is a pretty broadly held feeling at the moment, what if people feel like there's nothing left to give?
Yes, it is very common at the moment. So what I would encourage in this situation is for people to look at tracking their spending. So if you track your spending for say 2 to 3 weeks, it's often very insightful as to what you are spending your money on. If there is some money, even if it feels like it's absurdly low, $5 or something like that, that's still something that's better than nothing. We are also very creative people. If you were really committed to your emergency fund, you could look at selling some things that you may not be using. You could perhaps get, a second piece of work to get that emergency fund up and running. Ultimately, I think people, can be creative when it comes to that side of things, and there's plenty of advice and information out there. Looking at sorted.co.nz is going to help people get that set up.
Great shout. All right, thank you so much. Happy Sorted Money Month to you, Robyn Conway. Kia ora from Fisher Funds. Thank you.
E haere ake nei.